Blessed be everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing more shadow work, and I'm going to give you 5 questions that you can ask yourself to help you with your shadow work. And this is a pretty easy one, but at the same time it's also very challenging. But before we dive into the topic, hi, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to know where to start your Wiccan or witchcraft practice, have a look at my free video. The link to that is in the description field below the video. It is called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. I've done a couple of videos on some of the techniques that you can use to help you with your shadow work. And if you don't know what shadow work is, take a look at my video about shadow work. Essentially, it is those parts of ourselves that we like to deny that we have, and also those parts of ourselves that aren't approved by people around us, our culture, family, schooling, religion, and all of those other social institutions. So there can be qualities that are qualities you don't really want to have, and they're not necessarily good qualities to have either. So it's quite understandable that we may want to be in denial that we have them or beat ourselves up for having them. But the truth is, we all have them, and they actually have a purpose, and we just need to understand what the purpose is and to understand these parts of ourselves so that we can cease beating ourselves up for having them, and also learn how to utilize all of these parts of ourselves in a way that is positive and productive rather than negative and destructive. So one of the easiest ways to start your shadow work is to utilize other people, particularly those people that you don't like, or that annoy you, or rile you up, or irritate you. They can be people you know, people you work with, family members. They can also be personalities on television, celebrities, anybody basically, that just riles you. When you see that person or when you're around that person, you just feel like there's a part of you, or maybe you feel like it's all of you, that just doesn't like them or doesn't like something about them. These people are amazing mirrors to those shadow qualities in yourself that you're either in denial of, or that you are judging yourself and beating yourself up for having on a subconscious level. And the way to work with these qualities is to expose them and bring them out into the light so they're no longer in the shadow. And then you can start working at finding the gift in those qualities, and then working towards allowing yourself to utilize the gift in these qualities and stop beating yourself up for the negative aspects. So the first question to ask yourself when you're confronted with one of these people is, what is it about this person that I don't like? Think of at least 3 adjectives that may describe that person to you. It may be even something that they do. Maybe it's the way they speak. Maybe it's the tone of their voice. Maybe it's the way they look. What is it about this person that riles you? What is it about this person that you don't like? And write it down. The next thing to ask yourself is, do I sometimes exhibit this characteristic or behavior? And be honest with yourself. And this is tough because this is where we don't want to be so honest with ourselves about having certain characteristics. I may have told you the story about a particular psychotherapist that I knew who was struggling with her marketing for her business. And I said to her, well, you just have to go in and get in touch with your inner narcissist and work with that aspect of yourself so that you can have that self-love and self-acceptance to put yourself out there. And her response was, I don't have any narcissism in me, which for me was quite a shock coming from a psychotherapist, because I would assume that they would be well aware of all of these qualities and that every single person on this planet has a narcissist in them. Some people, of course, have personality disorders that make that narcissism extreme and totally pathological, and most of us, fortunately, don't have that. But general self-love and that general concern for self is something that we do all have. And often as spiritual people, we're encouraged not to have that at all. And so we're not supposed to have any interest in ourselves. And that, of course, blocks that narcissistic part of ourselves, and it will come out in other ways. So if you're confronted with a person who is exhibiting some kind of negative characteristic, and just ask yourself, have I ever in the past exhibited this behavior or been somehow like this person in some way? Or do I think in a way that I could exhibit that behavior, but I stop myself before I do? And just go through and think about that. We're not here to judge. I have had people that have commented that, you know, shadow work is a load of new age rubbish and it's just there to make you feel guilty about yourself. If it's done in the wrong way, yes, it will probably make you feel shame and guilt, but that's not the point of doing shadow work, particularly the way that I do it. It's actually to get rid of guilt and shame around aspects of yourself. It's for the complete opposite. But in order to do that, we have to know that we have these characteristics and then work towards being able to integrate them and work with them in a way that's positive. Then the next question is it possible that sometime in the future I might exhibit this behavior again, or these thoughts again, that could end up in that behavior if I didn't stop myself? So you're using this other person as a mirror. And then once you've got all of this information, you can then start doing some work around accepting those qualities that are within yourself. I like to use EFT tapping on the qualities, where I will just tap on a quality like this selfishness, this selfish aspect of myself. Yes, I can be selfish. I am selfish. I'm selfish. I'm selfish. And if you're not familiar with EFT tapping, I have another YouTube channel that is full of EFT tapping. It's Sandra Inman, that's the name of the channel. And if you want to do some more tapping, go check that YouTube channel out and do some tapping on all sorts of things, from social anxiety, shame, guilt, the works. And when you're working on accepting this aspect of yourself, or these aspects of yourself, you'll start to relax around them and find the gift in them. So there's two gifts in a shadow characteristic. One is that in avoiding the characteristic, say selfishness for example, you will find that you're being more generous and that you make an effort to be more generous. So that's a gift, because what you're trying to do is the opposite of that, and not wanting to be selfish is actually helping you be more generous. The problem is that sometimes in the case where you're denying any selfishness within yourself, you may become over generous and be give, and be too afraid to take or receive because you don't want to look selfish, that you end up in places where you end up with nothing, you end up giving too much, and you end up resenting people for it. So the other gift in the shadow is knowing when not to give. Knowing when to say, yes, I can give, and no, I can't give. When it's time to give to other people and also give to yourself. So there's two sides to the shadow. There's the one where you're working at giving to other people, and the other part of the shadow work is knowing that it's okay to give to yourself. And when you can connect to these aspects of yourself, you'll find you will become more balanced with your generosity, both to yourself and to the other person. And this is for any type of shadow quality. It could be narcissism, it could be arrogance, it could be any of the qualities that you don't like in other people, that you don't like in yourself. If you can look for the gift in the opposite of that quality and then look for the gift in that quality, It will help balance you out so you won't be going from extremes emotionally. And then those people that rile you, that you are using to help you work in this exercise, will no longer annoy you. You'll be able to be around them and be quite okay around them. And you'll probably find too that they may even stop coming into your proximity, particularly if they're pretty bad. It just changes your whole perception of yourself and the world around you. And when you change your perception, your life does actually change. And that's an aspect of magic. Magic works with perception. It works with the way that we experience reality. So doing the shadow work is a way that you can tap into the magic in that way. So try it and see, and let me know in the comments field how you go. If you like the video, hit the like button. Remember to share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.